Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at two triggers that are very common in the AR world. However, I could not really find many videos specifically looking at both of these ones directly compared to each other. So since they're very close in price range and they are two companies that are well known for making duty grade high quality products, I thought it would be good to do a video on there. They are extremely similar, almost exactly the same. However, there are a couple of very subtle differences. However, I will just start off this video by saying these both are very good triggers. You can't go wrong with either of them, and they are very similar. So, but let's get right into it. This is the Geissele G2S, and then in my other one, we're going to look at the Larue MBT2S trigger. And so we'll start with the Geissele. This one I don't have as much experience with. However, like I said, since they're both very similar, they're pretty close. So I'll start with the MSRP on the Geissele starts at around $170. However, they very regularly go on sale for much less than that. So you can typically find these on sale for around $100. And for that price, you are getting an extremely high quality trigger. And honestly, I don't think you could do a whole lot better than this, especially for the price. This is effectively the same trigger as the Geissele SSA trigger. However, they skip a step in the process. I believe it has to do with the quality control. This still gets inspected. However, they skip one of the inspection steps, basically. So you're getting a tiny less quality control for a lot less price. So for me, I think that's fair enough. I know they're still doing quality control inspections on all of this. So as far as pull weights, things like that, I don't have a trigger gauge. I don't think that trigger weight is as important as how it feels. And Geissele does not make it very simple. They give kind of convoluted numbers. They say the first stage is around 1.75 to 2.75 pounds. And then essentially what it means is these are two-stage triggers, which I will go into right now. So these have both been cleared. So the two-stage just means that unlike a mil-spec trigger where you are going to immediately be at your wall as soon as you pull the trigger, this has an initial take-up, and it's very light. It's around 2 pounds, we'll just call it that. And then you are at a very nice wall, which breaks. So small differences between this and the Larue is that this Geissele trigger has a little bit more of a rolling break to it. So it doesn't necessarily have that snap like the Larue does. However, it still breaks very nicely. No over travel. And then the reset is also very nice. It's forceful, which I like. It's also very quick. And then you have another nice break. Again, a little bit more of a rolling break on the Geissele. I think the Geissele would be a little more in tune with if you were going to be doing a long day of shooting. I think the Geissele might be slightly easier to shoot all day. But let's take a look at the Larue next. Okay, so this is the Larue MBT2S. This is a very popular trigger and very highly regarded. Again, I will quick show that this is clear and before we start pulling triggers and whatnot. So I know that gets some people excited, as it should. Gun safety should always be number one. So the Larue is a direct competitor to Geissele, and there's a little more drama there than I will go into. However, they make very good quality duty grade parts across the board, and this trigger is very popular, and there's a good reason for it. It is extremely high quality. It's made out of S7 tool steel. I believe the same as the Geissele. The machining on it is impeccable. Both of these triggers If you are familiar with machine work at all, you can immediately tell these are both very high quality pieces of metal. So again, this is a 2-stage trigger. This has MSRP, I should say, is around 115, and again, they go on sale usually less than $100. $85 to $95 is pretty common. So we'll take a look at the trigger pull on this one. So again, maybe not quite as much take up here, but I'm splitting hairs here. Like I said, these two triggers are very similar. The Larue definitely has a slightly, maybe a 5 or 10% cleaner break. But again, the Geissele is not bad. It just has a different style, that the different style break. So here's the break on the Larue. Very crisp, very defined. And the reset is also very forceful, which I like. Very short, right there, you're back on the wall. Again, very nice. So these both are excellent triggers, especially for the price. You're paying around $100 for either one. And that, of course, comes to the question, which one would I recommend? And I'm going to give you a very boring answer and say that you cannot go wrong with either trigger. Pick which one you like the name of more, pick which one is on sale, has a better sale price, pick which one you like the owner of more. It's really, they're that close. I would say the Larue feels slightly more precise. If I had a really long range gun, I would probably want to go with the Larue trigger. But again, we're splitting hairs here. I'm trying to find a difference between these two. With the Geissele, I would say it's going to be a little easier to shoot for longer periods of time, mainly just because it has a slightly softer break. And I would say the break itself maybe feels a touch lighter. I'm talking a fraction, maybe a half a pound, if that. So again, this is a comparison between the Geissele G2S and the Larue MBT2S. I'm not going to be any help in terms of helping you decide which one to get. If you have multiple ARs, just try both of them. They are both very good. You cannot go wrong with either. And really, the choice is kind of a coin toss. Thanks for watching.